Morning guys. Well, I'm not taking any chances today. I've got my microphone plugged in and I've got my phone so I can narrate at the same time, because if my voice slows down, I really don't want to be spending the entire day cutting and editing like I was the other day. So here we go then. So I'm still researching my interdimensional cathedral, so I was delighted when this popped up last night. Ra Castelda. Now, I've never heard of Ra Castelda, but I have now. I better thumbs this up, hadn't I? He's a bloodline shaman and seer who channels and sees stuff, and put anything aside, because people like this do exist. Some people are more psychic than others. I have psychic abilities. My mum does, my daughter does. Mine are, I don't sort of use mine very much, but I do have premonition dreams. I've had them before, and I'm quite good at visualizing stuff. My daughter says that's my power. I mean, I can talk about things that I need and then come across them sometimes within the next 10 minutes or so. So we've all got them. We've all got them. Telepathy to some point, so open-mindedness. So they're discussing the interdimensional nature of the cathedral, its history, what it's built on, the sacred site that it was on, and the significance of the temple, of the windows. They're saying that the original cathedrals built that brought their knowledge from the Temple of Solomon. They were the temple builders, and that ties in with my earlier research about Jacques the Templar, the Guild of Saint Jacques, and they are discussing how cathedrals are interdimensional spaces, and that these rose windows are the portals. They talk about how it was almost impossible for the wood to burn because it was ancient and petrified, and that these rose windows, this particular rose window, was made from wood from Mount Hermon. Now, it was just such a coincidence, because I've just been reading about Mount Hermon in another blog, and I'll go there in a minute. But it's where the fallen angels were supposed to have landed, and has huge connections with the god Baal, who is associated with fire. And Notre Dame Cathedral is also built over a temple to this guy, if I can find him. Got him a minute ago. Yeah. Cernunnos. So we all know about Cern. He was the horned god, and he makes an analogy between the falling of the spire on the cathedral and a horn, like a phallic horn of phallus of Baphomet almost. So let's find that bit I was just going to show you. Now, apparently on Alex Jones, some guy, and you see things like this, I don't know, because this guy who presented it to Alex Jones is an ex-insider who used to take part in rituals, so I don't know. But he says this turns into portals that people can travel through. And this guy presented to Alex Jones some footage of a Knights Templar walking through the fire. Now he's saying that they came through a portal. So if you watch, you'll see a figure. It's here. Let's play it back a bit for you. I think I'd missed the walking bit. He's trying to find it. There we go. Look. So the fire is burning in the distance, and there's some figure That's the insider guy. So Ra Castaldo is theorising that this guy walks through a portal. He believes it's connected to CERN, and our reality has been changed, and somehow we're in a different reality. We're not in our old world anymore. I want to show you this because it is quite... other people who have seen this have... I'll play it all the way through, then you can see it. Here we go. So it's closed due to the renovation. It's on fire, and there's some guy who looks like a Knights Templar wandering along the cloister bit at the top, the vaults. Yeah. So, rose windows built from alchemical glass, and nobody knows now the recipe for them. So they mention here the OA, but Ra Castelda had never watched the OA. I'm going to kill this. I'll take you first to this lady. Now, she talks about Mount Hermon here. I'll just talk about her quickly because I was looking for old London maps and I found this, which is a Roman map of London. And you can see Roman burial grounds, more fields, the Barbican, Horsepool, Wordswell, Newgate, Aldersgate. There's bugger all here. But where St Paul's Cathedral is, there's a mound, yeah? Seems to be a mound here, and then another mound there, and a mound here. So maybe the Romans dug it out. Maybe the Romans dug London out originally. Yeah. She was paying heed to a particular road here, I think, called Virginal Way, which ties in with her own research, which is fascinating. Let me show you, because I'll be coming back to here a different time. She looks at the significance of shells. She's a decoder, and the unicorn, and Princess Diana, and pearls, and Santiago de Compostela, and she goes into Jupiter and the Madonna, and the significance of the shell, the esoteric meaning, and how it resembles the female genitalia and the oyster. Yeah, and there she is, Sacred Virgin. But that's for another post. See where you go when you're researching. The OA. Okay, right, so the OA. If you haven't watched it, there's going to be spoilers in this. There has to be, for the nature of the material. So the OA, in a nutshell, is basically a story of consciousness and time travel and passing between dimensions. The main character has gathered together a bunch of people and taught them a sequence of movements that can open dimensions, and she sort of pops in between dimensions, takes over somebody else's consciousness, and this is how this story sort of develops. In the second series, we shift to another dimension in which she exists, and the other people who are in the other dimension, but they've all got to find each other. And there's a detective in this who's looking for a missing person, who is also somebody who switched dimensions, but that doesn't become apparent until later. But he enters this house that is has already been sort of identified in the OA as an extremely sort of important location. Here we go, come on. Sorry, I had to completely stop everything and start again because it was playing up so much. Yeah, so in a nutshell, the OA is about interdimensional transiting. So these people come together and they can make these very, very sort of esoteric movements and open dimensions. And here she has these black cubes on edges, and they're they do the movements. They're machines. So technology has taken the place of the natural. So these are the people, and they open a dimension and she falls through it. Let me show you. So he opens the window, and there's a convergence of dimensions. So if you look at the window, it's got 12 elements like the face of a clock. So it's a time portal. Round dove there, which is the symbol of Aphrodite. A small rose shape here. So it signals the mastery of time. And the light floods in, and it means spiritual illumination. So here she comes, rising up, falls to his knees with the epiphany of it. She's a goddess. It's absolutely so filled with symbolism. People watch this as entertainment. They're telling us here what they're doing. Look at this. Location matters. It has to be, it's called geomancy when you use a specific location. Therefore, in geomancy, and in the background is Angel Island, Golden Gate Bridge, and in esoteric, Golden Bridge is where you go to heaven, and the Silver Gate, the Golden Gate is where you go through to heaven, and the Silver Gate is where you're born through. It's running a lot better now because I cleaned it up. Yeah. Also, hang on, I'm going to go back to the other one that I watched. Because in here he talks about the significance of the rose and how the rose is used romantically and in so many different places, and that it's symbolic of portals and time travel. So here we go. It's all running well now. I might record the whole damn thing again. Here it is. They talk here as well about how it looks like a battery, how it looks like a machine. They also question the falling of the spire, saying that it looks like an antennae. They show it so much, I shouldn't have much trouble finding it. Yeah, there. How it looks like tech, and maybe it was receiving something from the sky or transmitting it. Unfortunately, you only get an hour of this because you have to be a subscriber to get the second hour, and the second hour sounds awesome. They talk about the druids and the sacred trees, and how the druids had the power of the spoken word, and how they could change things through the power of the spoken word. This is a fantastic and interesting video with lots and lots of jumping off points. I don't agree with everything he says, but I don't agree with everything anybody says, you know. That's ridiculous. That would make me an idiot. Look at this. That's chartreuse. Raphaim, that's the name of the bodiless spirits that can be released with fire. Not good, eh? Talk about the giants. But of course for me the interdimensional aspect was interesting, but in conclusion, because it's not going to do it, I think that it was a ritual burning. I think a portal may well have been opened. I'm not sure if that Knights Templar was anything to do with it. That looked like some sort of stage ritual to me, but who's to say? Who's to say? With tech they could have had a holographic image up there, and the fact that some sort of Illuminati insider showed it to Alex Jones doesn't ring all that well with me. But they might have been pointing something out. They might have just been pointing something out. So yeah, this is the most esoteric program I've seen since As Above So Below, the OA, and well worth a watch if you're interested in what's going on right now, because I do think they are merging dimensions. I think they're messing around with time. Something else they say in that cathedral video is that they're building another CERN under Lake Geneva. Why would anybody want to build a reactor like that under Lake Geneva? And that they're saying that these windows are portals. The OA's saying it, they're saying it. We've come to these conclusions ourselves, that these places are a lot more than we're told, that there are a lot more to them, that there are sacred sites underneath, vaults underneath, bones underneath, there are energy centres. They can cause disasters. I mean, they say in that video, in the other video, the Ra Castelda one, that the original builders lost the art of making those windows after 100 years. So it seems to me that they put these things up, put these cathedrals up, and then maybe somebody used them and caused an event. Maybe the event dates from the building of the cathedrals. Yeah? See this rose symbolism? And I'm going to leave the links to both of these because they're absolutely fascinating. Who'd ever have thought that we'd be going down this path where we're now looking at the possibility of a shifting dimensions? In the other video he talks about the Mandela effect and how we may well start to see like some changes within our physical reality, changes within people, changes in events. He's also talking about the time that we're living in now. Now I've heard this in quite a few other places, it's not just from him. I keep coming across this, that this is an extremely important and powerful time that we're living in. I think we're moving into a matriarchal age. We're moving into a time of the woman, which is why a lot of this appropriation of the feminine is taking off. Men transgendering into women. They want a piece of the matriarchal pie. But if we're not careful, they're trying to get a hold of the human consciousness by taking us down the road of Baal and Cernunnos and Lucifer, the dark side of Lucifer, rather than what could actually happen to us, which is we could actually ascend and become incredible beings, and this place could actually sort itself out. But the way it's going at the moment, it's not looking too good, because so many people are being drawn, being just sort of like lured in, really sort of like lured in, and having little things jangled in front of them, and enjoying carnage and being sort of predictively programmed by things like cannibalism and paedophilia and just sort of like accepting it. Just accepting it. When I was a young woman, never heard the word paedophilia. Now it trips off the end of children's tongues, you know. Oh yeah, he's a pedo, don't go near him, he's a pedo. But it's sort of like become almost like a bit of a joke. And it's not a bloody joke. We're in quite a critical place, I think, in our history. And a whole lot of people are waking up, and we need to keep on waking up. We need to keep on waking up and challenging this evil that has permeated our society. They're now sort of like telling us what they're doing and calling it entertainment. Rose windows, cathedrals, energy machines, they're interdimensional portals, and they're using them. They're performing rituals and they're using them. Right, I'm going to go now because I've got a lot to do today. I've got to finish my daughter's birthday painting. I set myself a ridiculously tricky task this time. I mean, I don't know what's the matter with me. I said to my daughter, I said, I don't know why I do this. Why don't I just do something simple? I do a painting, it always has to be something that is challenging, otherwise what's the point? Anyway guys, hope you enjoyed this. Sorry it's so bitty. Sorry, I apologise for the internet, but you know, it just seems to be that everybody's going through this at the moment. They just don't want us to do it, do they? See you later.